And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to NFL Conference Championship Weekend here, presenting this edition here of Show Blitz. I'm Charles Prodigy Richey here, host of the Men of Steel podcast, covering the Pittsburgh Steelers as well as exclusively the NFL from time to time. And we're getting ready to wrap up an exciting finish to the 2023 season. Got plenty of stuff to get into real quick for this edition here. The latest on the Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator position search, as well as some news on the defensive side. As an assistant coach, I just got an extension. We'll get into that a little bit more right now. And then, like I said, last we're going to wrap up real quickly the Final Four of the conference championships, beginning this afternoon at 3 Eastern on CBS, as well as NFL Plus, which would be the Baltimore Ravens hosting the Kansas City Chiefs. And then later on, it'll be the nightcap with the San Francisco 49ers will be hosting the Detroit Lions at Levi Stadium. That game is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time right there. First time matchup for those two teams, meaning the NFL and the NFC Conference Championship game. They met in the playoffs twice before, but not on this stage. And once again, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Charles Project Richie. You can follow me on my Twitter X at Steel CGR, as well as Instagram at Steel Nation. Like I said, we got a lot of fun stuff to get into right now. Getting ready to wrap up. And to say the least, I'll just pick it back up with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I hear a lot of stuff right now too as we heat up. Mike Tomlin knew this was going to be a big season for him and his staff going into this year. I mean, we're still not even at the bridge yet. Mike Tomlin signing a contract extension, but Art Rooney did announce that they do plan on extending him. And Mike Tomlin, he is a shoo-in to come back for this year. And despite some of the questionable, possible him walking off or parting ways after this past season, it doesn't seem likely right now, but never say never. But anyway, let's go ahead and begin with the defense coordinator right now. It was reported by Jerry Dulac, which Pro Football Talk got the confirmation from Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette that Teryl Austin, he has agreed to a 2-year deal to remain in Pittsburgh. He will now head into his third year running the offense after 3 years as a senior defensive assistant. Remember, he joined the staff back in the spring of 2019. Uh, and this season, the Steelers, they finished 10th in points allowed excuse me. In this first season, they finished 10th in points allowed and improved to sixth on their way to the postseason in 2023. So, nice little sizable jump right there. But I mean, of course, too, I mean, everyone who's been following this team and with the reports right there, Mike Tomlin has been the one who's been like getting in there more involved, having the final say on the plays being run. Now, since he is back, there are at least one change to the defense staff. Cameron Wolf of NFL Media reports that assistant defensive backs coach Gerald Alexander, he'll go head off to Las Vegas to be the Raiders safeties coach, as he'll be joining Antonio Pierce, who is the now newly head coach of the Vegas Raiders, uh, who came in during the season to replace Josh McDaniels right now. And he is ready to come in here and take this. I mean, this is a guy who's been exemplifying the silver and black attitude under what Al Davis used to run this team, especially during their times in Los Angeles when they were in the old Coliseum. Definitely felt the momentum, just how to play like a Raider, just play gritty, savvy, everything you want. But like I said, congratulations, Gerald Alexander, right there, as he'll be joining Antonio Pierce's staff. He'll be the Raiders safeties coach. So now let's go ahead and get right into it too. Aside from the defense, I think you know what that was definitely a big thing right there. I mean, Teryl Austin. Let me just say this: I think he's done well, but at the same time too, I mean, like I said a moment ago, the Steelers, Mike Tomlin has been the one like monitoring things a lot more. So again, I'm welcome to have him back. I mean, this will be Mike Tomlin's third defensive coordinator in his time with the organization. Remember, he inherited Dick LeBeau from Bill Cowher's staff, and after the 2014 season, they parted ways. Then they have Keith Butler, who stepped in back in 2015. He was there for 7 seasons, and then you have Teryl Austin right now, who enters his third season here. And as we look at it right now, I mean, just everything that they've been wanting to do right now. I mean, also too, I mean, aside from like points allowed, I mean, which is really good. Yards, they finished up six under Teryl Austin in his defense. The only flip side would be the part that kind of staggered a little bit, though. They did give up a lot of yards this year, which ranked 21st in total defense at over 5,860 yards. And of course, Blitzburg has definitely been kind of like fading away a little bit. I mean, this right here, too, when you look at as compared to like last season, too, I mean, the Pittsburgh Steelers, this would be the second straight year where they have not had 50 sacks or more. But then again, how much is this more trying to be a little bit more well balanced and more particularly help sharpening up on the secondary spot? Remember, I mean, he was a senior defense backs assistant, Teryl Austin. But anyway, uh, yeah, I think just the key thing is right now how they continue to keep this momentum going right now. Have a healthier TJ Watt. But I mean, at the same time, too, I mean, this defense right now, you gotta believe as far as like veteran concerned. I mean, you look at a guy like Cam Hayward. I mean, you could probably argue TJ Watt. I mean, this is probably like nearing some transition right now for this team as they enter the 2024 season, where they may have to start recycling things here. I mean, they get better. This has definitely been a season met with challenges, and right now the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right now, when we look at as far as everything, I mean they're going to be estimated about $22 million in the hole in cap space. A lot of adjustments are going to be have to be made right now. The biggest cap hits on their roster right now, you got TJ Watt leading the way at about over 30.4 million. And then Cam Hayward about 22.4, who actually went on record about refusing to take a pay cut. He was mentioning on his podcast. I mean, more than just football. And he'll turn 35 years old in May. And like I said, we just mentioned the cap hit over 22.4 million, and he is not going to be taking less money for them. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to say right now. I mean, like business wise, you do a team friendly deal. I mean, there's certain points here when you have a hard cap era league where you got to make those tough decisions right there. Uh, I mean, will they give him an extension? To be honest with you, I mean that we'll see. I mean, just get this money on the back end. But at the same time, he is nearing the end of his career, and he's going to definitely need to find like successor soon. Now, do you wait till after the season? Do you target one in the draft? We'll keep you updated here on that. But then you also got another one too with Minka Fitzpatrick, 21.3, Deontay, 15.8. Alex Highsmith, which is reasonable, 13.9. Larry Ogunjobi at 13.2. So there's going to have to be some tough decisions you're going to make too. Even one as far as like Patrick Pearson, he's another questionable guy. But anyway, we'll see what happens under Omar Khan. I'm not too worried about that. But let's go back again to the offensive coordinator positions right now as we look at here on this edition here of Showblitz, who of course me, Charles Prodigy Richey. According to Brooke Pryor, the Steelers began their process on Monday, January 22nd, requesting to speak with Rams pass game coordinator Zac Robinson, which, by the way, updating him, he got hired by the Atlanta Falcons yesterday as he'll be joined newly head coach Raheem Morris, formerly the LA Rams. According to the book prior, Robinson he didn't have the offensive coordinator experience Tom will say he wants in candidates, but Robinson is a rising candidate this coaching cycle with his experience learning under Sean McVay throughout the last 5 seasons. Plus his Oklahoma State product. The only thing about Robinson, he had a relationship with fellow Cowboy alum Mason Rudolph, and it was possible they could help to bring him back as the Steelers were serious about retaining him going into this season. I mean, as far as Robinson right now, going with transition with the Falcons right now, but previous 4 seasons on McVay's staff, which saw them win Super Bowl 56, and the Falcons were pretty much knocking on the door. I mean, right now for the division, when we look at, I mean, this year, I mean, in the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons they finished third at 7-10. I mean, and you look at like last year too, for them. I mean, back to back 7-10 seasons for the Dirty Birds right there, or 3 seasons, excuse me, 3 seasons of 7-10 football. And you got Feet Guard for Blake right there. He's definitely looking to get something going as well as time is running out for him right now as an executive with fellow owner Jerry Jones. But anyway, here's some other cancel too that we've been hearing throughout this process right now. On Friday, it was announced that the Steelers they did interview Texas quarterback coach Terod Johnson and have interviewed Panthers offense coordinator Thomas Brown. And I mean, Texas quarterback Terod Johnson, CJ Stroud said he helped change my life as far as like in the pass game, but there's gonna be some stuff right here. I mean, when we look at, I mean, Gerard Johnson right now. I mean, who's an interesting one, coming off with the Houston Texans. I mean, just to even someone bring someone fresh from outside the organization for this season right here. I mean, he's had a second interview for the Saints offensive coordinator position as well, but he has been making the rounds with teams looking for offensive coordinators, and And if he gets a job in New Orleans, he'll be working with a more experienced quarterback in Derek Carr right now. I mean, he spent 1 year with the Texans after serving as assistant quarterback coach with the Minnesota Vikings in 2022, of course, with Kirk Cousins. Uh, he is the second candidate to interview for the position after Carolina Panthers offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, according to Jerry Dulac. Steelers, uh, who mentioned about Johnson, he was a member of the Steelers. Who was a member of the Steelers offseason roster in 2012, bounced around the league with 6 different teams from 2011 to 2016. He never appeared in an NFL game after finishing his career at Texas A&M as the school's career leader in pass yards and total offense. Previously, Johnson, he spent 2 seasons as a quality control coach with the Indianapolis Colts. He began his NFL coaching career with the San Francisco 49ers as a Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship member. As we look at Gerard Johnson. But to be honest with you right now, I mean, you look at it right now, there's still some questions right now too. Even like whoever they bring in right now. I mean, just how does this help like the guys on this roster? Should they retain Mason Rudolph, the quarterback competition? But Mike Tomlin did now acknowledge that Kenny Pickett will still be the top quarterback, but will have to pretty much earn that spot to stay as a starter right now, as we look at it. I mean, Kenny Pickett is definitely the one who people definitely trashed on. I mean, with his play down the stretch. I mean, not only that, just not staying healthy enough though, too. I mean, you look at a guy like Kenny Pickett and what he's capable of doing. I mean, yeah, he's had all the fourth quarter comebacks and the game-winning drives in his career, which is pretty exciting stuff. But I mean, at the same time, too, I mean, when you look at it, I mean, he's only started right now 15. No, he started out 20, he's started 24 or 25 games in his career to this point. I mean, when we calculate it here right now. So, I mean, that's quite a big chunk of games that he's missed. I mean, of course, 2022 season, I mean, he didn't come in until the fourth game of that season. That was against Jets right there in Acrisure Stadium. I mean, Kenny Pickett, I mean, for right now, I mean, it's definitely a big crossroad right now where he's going to really have to develop. I mean, just the passing touchdowns just been the worst, scariest thing right now. I mean, just only throwing one last touchdown to the year ago, six touchdowns, four receptions. I mean, that's the only positive I could say versus a year ago where he threw seven touchdowns and nine picks right now. I mean, the only problem is right now, too, when you look at a guy like Kenny Pickett, I mean, you hear the voice of support coming from receivers like Deontay Johnson, George Pickens. I mean, pretty much players in the locker right now are more comfortable with Mason Rudolph getting the ball in their hands. And plus, you look at a guy like Mason Rudolph, who's just been doing an excellent job of taking care of the ball right there and just seeing this offense click on all cylinders when they need to be. I mean, obviously you could tell right there. I think for any quarterback to have like decent success, you don't want to upset the apple cart with your receivers on your roster, especially your star receivers. You want to try and find a way to keep those guys happy at all possible because when you get the chemistry going with them, just never know what could translate for that team as a whole in general. They have to like make sure maintain that camaraderie and that trust right there because the moment you start to lose them right there is where you can definitely drag one of your coaches involved, your head coach alone, try and dissect what the problem is as far as like the chemistry on the field, executing plays. And Kenny right now, I really do believe he's got the right attitude. But I mean, for right now, it's definitely looking a little suspect right now, especially with the confusion towards the end too. I was saying if he was dressed and ready to go, he would play the final two games of the season. But again, it was Mason Rudolph who held on to that job the rest of the season, put the Steelers into the playoffs behind their defense. And right now, I mean, Pickett right now, I mean, getting dangerously very close to being maybe a first round bust. But when you got a guy like Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer, four-time Super Bowl champion, I mean, who's definitely feels like he is a winner here. Uh, I mean, Terry Bradshaw, I mean, for his career too, when we look at, I mean, he's definitely had a rocky start himself. When we look at, I mean, you look at Terry's career. I mean, aside from the Army he had, I mean, let's just look at his early years. I mean, he, I mean, at least for his credit, I mean, didn't start going double digits with touchdowns until his second year, but he didn't really start to click. I mean, with this offense, I mean, until his third season right there. I mean, but even still, you look at his career touchdowns to interception ratio, 212 touchdowns to 210 picks right there. But again, eventually he's took him not only to the playoffs, four Super Bowls. Uh, the franchise's only league MVP plus a two-time Super Bowl MVP winner right there. But still, I mean, he was definitely like ridiculed unmercifully by fans right there, and just basically almost like a dumb quarterback at times. I mean, which is not the case. But I mean, still, I mean, can you pick? Yes, because his completion percentage was like barely 52%. So again, Hall of Famer, yes. But I mean, at the same time, I could see some similarities right here. The only difference was, I mean, Bradshaw did have a little bit more get with the touchdown passes in the second year. I mean, you keep score. I mean, 13 in the second season compared to Kenny Pickett's sixth in his second season as a starting quarterback, basically here. But let's look at some of the other offense coordinators too for the Steelers. Clint Kubiak right now is another candidate right now. 11 years experience after taking over offense coordinator duties from his father Gary under Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Kubiak went to Denver and eventually assumed play calling duties late in the season. After newly head coach Sean Payton cleaned house, Kubiak landed in San Francisco under Kyle Shanahan. A product of that coaching and family tree, Kubiak helped the Steelers. He could help the Steelers utilize all their offensive weapons to get the most out of Pickett by using more play action. Now, as I mentioned on my last podcast, too, another candidate right here, Daryl Bevell, 27-year NFL veteran. Bevell has an experience as an offensive coordinator with four teams, including stints as the interim head coach of Detroit and Jacksonville. Most recently, Bevell added the development of quarterbacks Trevor Lawrence and Tua Tagovailoa. In Seattle, Minnesota, he worked with all-pro running backs Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. Bevell's experience, coupled with versatile background developing both running backs and quarterbacks, could be just what the Steelers need to maximize Pickett and Harris. So if you're going to ask me, I like Daryl Bevell slightly Clint Kubiak, and I mean, just consider the names who he's had on his resume right there. But I mean, still, I mean, you could also argue Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Pearson were already byproducts of themselves. But let's go ahead and get into wrap this show up right now. Conference championship weekend, beginning with the AFC. The Baltimore Ravens right now, the Dirty Birds of the AFC, they'll be hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in about in about an hour and a half, less than 2 hours away at M&T Bank Stadium. Not only will this be the Ravens' first AFC home championship game they will be hosting, this is a first for them, but this is also the second time, or the last time they hosted a conference championship game in the city of Baltimore, just Baltimore alone, was the then Baltimore Colts was back in 1971 of the 1970 season where the Colts defeated the Oakland Raiders to go on and win their first Super Bowl as a Colts franchise. They would go on to defeat the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl V. And as mentioned by ESPN's Adam Schefter, some interesting notes right here. Travis Kelce, he needs not only 7 catches to pass the GOAT as far as wide receivers, Jerry Rice right there, who has 151. Kelsey has 145, so he'll need 7 more should the Chiefs advance to the Super Bowl as they try and go for the quest for their third Super Bowl in about 5 seasons. But he will also need 5 touchdowns in the postseason to pass Jerry Rice as well. Pretty awesome stuff right there. You got Chiefs running back as far as the injuries right now. Isaiah Pacheco listed as questionable for this game due to an ankle injury. He will play versus the Ravens per source. Now, the Chiefs, they have ruled out wide receiver Kadarius Toney for Sunday's AFC Championship game due to a hip injury and personal reasons. Then you got Ravens quarterback Marlon Humphrey, calf, and quarterback Rock Yasin, knee, both listed as questionable for today's contest. Both are expected to play versus Chiefs per source. Now, some interesting keys to the game going into this matchup right now be on the defense side right now. You got Andy Reid and Ravens defense coordinator Mike McDonald, who is fascinating. Reid is known for his saving his best design plays for the playoffs, and the Chiefs, after a grueling season, are finally in an offensive groove. Will McDonald blitz? Well, here's the thing right now, too. You got to look at it this way. The Ravens led the league with 60 sacks, uh, followed by the Chiefs with 57. Chiefs have blitzed 214 times off of 650 quarterback dropbacks, while the Ravens have blitzed 160 times off of 731 quarterback dropbacks right now. Just to give you an idea. Now, I'll definitely say this. One guy to definitely pay attention to in this game right now. I mean, like you would definitely have to look at for the Baltimore Ravens. Look at a guy like Roquan Smith right now, who came over from the Chicago Bears last year. I mean, just what he's just been able to do for this team. I mean, Roquan, who's definitely gonna be all in right here. He's got 158 total tackles for the season, and he definitely come after it too. I mean, for all he's done, he's been right now in his career as a football player, earning his first and only uh, pro and all pro honors as a Baltimore Raven. When you look at him, I mean, the guy who's just been just completely phenomenal right here. I mean, with them, I mean, they're calling this guy probably the next closest thing to like Ray Lewis for the Ravens franchise. I mean, Roquan right here is an exciting player to definitely watch. This definitely gives that spirit right there for a guy like Ray. Now, I'm not ready to put him on Ray's level just yet, but still, when you look at, I mean, it was just for him to be traded to the Ravens for AJ Klein and a 2023 second round pick and the 2023 fifth round pick. He was named Defensive Player of the Month last year in December, but still, right here, I mean, he changed his number to zero, becoming the first ever Raven to wear that number right here. And Roquan, who last year under the Ravens was wearing number 18 0. That's gonna be an awesome number right here. We'll see what to do. I think that's one guy who's gonna be definitely a guy to watch. Definitely like to see how he gets after a guy like Isaiah Pacheco and their running attack, or even trying like how can you limit like Patrick Mahomes like outside the edge right there. Let me put some pressure on him up front. And Chiefs, they got a very good defense of their own right now. I mean, when you look at like points allowed, they're second in that category. While you got the Baltimore Ravens right now for points allowed in this game, they are number one in that regard. But as far as total defense, Chiefs had the edge over the Ravens in that regard. Second, only allowing 4,926 yards, while the Ravens are sixth, allowing over 2,300 yards in this game. For this game, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs upset in this game. I just have right now Patrick Mahomes. I think definitely I'll agree with many people. He's definitely in the category of don't bet against right here. He's earned that right. Then later on for the nightcap, the NFC Conference Championship game at Levi's Stadium, 49ers hosting the Detroit Lions right now. 49ers and the Lions have met twice in the playoffs back in 1957, and the last time was 1983, each in the divisional round. 1957 was, of course, the Detroit Lions' last championship. They won four world championships in their career, never in the Super Bowl era. Got the 49ers who are definitely 5-2 in the Super Bowl era right now. The 49ers right now trying to get back to their second Super Bowl within 5 years under Coach Kyle Shanahan and try and right the wrong and get the job done this time. Now, for the 49ers, wide receiver Deebo Samuel, he is off the injury report and will play Sunday's NFC Championship game versus the Lions. The Lions, they will not be activating Zach Ertz off the practice squad for NFC's title game per source. Ertz, he worked hard all week to get ready, but team will hold him out. You also got Lions tight end Sam Laporte off the injury report despite his knee injury, and it's good to go for Sunday's NFC Championship game versus 49ers. The Lions, however, did rule out guard Joel Jackson, knee, and receiver Khalif Raymond for Sunday's game. Give me the 49ers in this one. I mean, the Lions right now have been decent. I mean, a nice story, but I'm not ready to go there with the Lions right now finishing this job. I will say this though, it would be nice to see them win this, and if they do win it all, I mean, look at the city of Detroit. I mean, you got Stanley Cups, you got World Series, NBA championships. All is just missing the crowning glory for them will be a Super Bowl for the city of Detroit. To officially crown themselves City of Champions once again for their time. I mean, the 49ers, I mean, you just look at this team. Team has just been doing it all year, especially last year, and quite frankly, the last 5 years. Since coming over as the head coach for the San Francisco 49ers, they've been to the playoffs 4 times under Coach Kyle Shanahan in 7 seasons right now, and they each time they have gotten to the playoffs under Kyle Shanahan, they have been in the NFC conference championship right now. And which, by the way, too, the 49ers, they are 7-11 in the conference championship game at 7-11. Lions, who their last NFC champ, conference championship game was 32 years ago when they fell short to the Washington them Redskins in there, and which, by the way, defeated the Dallas Cowboys that season in the playoffs. But you got the Chiefs right now who have the winningest percentage in the conference championship game at 5-3. Ravens are at 2-2. So give me the Niners. So you're gonna have a Super Bowl rematch of Chiefs versus Niners right there with the despite it being a neutral field right now, the Kansas City Chiefs will have the opportunity to wear their home uniforms if they choose to do so. But go ahead, give me Super Bowl 54 rematch. It'll be the Chiefs versus Niners. That'll be my prediction right here. And key matchups to watch out for in this contest with the 49ers too. I mean, look at right here. I mean, like Christian McCaffrey. Versus for the Detroit Lions. I mean, probably like Jamar Gibbs right here, who's been incredibly awesome right here. The Lions right now for this matchup, first time winning the division in over 30 years. And of course, look at like the running they had right here. I mean, Jamar Gibbs, who's ran for 945 yards. He was selected 12th overall in this year's draft, coming out of the University of Georgia Tech. It looks like. Let's see. No, Alabama. Excuse me, Alabama right here, and formerly with Georgia, but it's done some good stuff with them. I mean, they've been a good one-two hack right punch right here with them. I mean, Jamar Gibbs, he's second on the team with scrimmage yards, 1,261 yards, and second on touchdowns behind Dave Montgomery, who has 13, who's had a monstrous year in his own right, to say the least. But I mean, right now, Jared Goff has got a chance to resurrect his career right now. And let's see if he can finish the job, take his team back to the Super Bowl, win one. But like I said, I got Chiefs versus Niners. That's be my prediction right here. And one other guy to pay attention to for the 49ers on defense, of course, we already know about rating Defensive Player of the Year, Nick Bosa, but also looking for a former Steeler, too, defensive lineman, Javon Hargrave, who comes in second on the team with 7 sacks right here. And they got some good corners, and Javarius Ward leads the team with 5 interceptions. He already got pick 6 for the season, followed by Fred Warner, their linebacker right there. So Niners versus Chiefs. That's going to do it for this edition here of Show Blitz. Once again, you can follow me on my Twitter X at MountSteelCJR and on Instagram at MountSteelNation. So I always leave you. Don't be trolling, be rolling. I gone. Thank you for watching the Mass Steel podcast with your host, Charles Prodigy Richey, here on YouTube. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And for all the latest Mass Steel podcast episodes, feel free to download them on Mixcloud, Anchor.fm, and SoundCloud, wherever you get your podcasts.